A German duke spent his entire life chasing a throne that wasn't his and almost won. I've read the court records myself. Ernst August of Hanover was born in 1887 into one of Europe's most storied families. But here's what matters. By the time he was a teenager, he already knew he'd been cheated. His father had given up the Hanoverian crown decades earlier, in 1866, when Prussia crushed the kingdom in war. Ernst August grew up nursing that wound. It never healed. The boy wasn't mad, not yet. He was methodical. He studied law, military strategy, and genealogy. He collected maps of Hanover. He wrote letters to distant cousins in other courts, reminding them of his claim. Most didn't answer. A few did, but only politely. Ernst August didn't care. He was patient. He believed that time and circumstance would restore what Prussia had stolen. Then came World War I. Ernst August was in his 20s. Germany mobilized. Like thousands of aristocrats, he volunteered not for patriotism, I think, but for leverage. Officers with titles, with connections, with family names that meant something. They rose faster. They had influence. Ernst August served, and he watched the war consume everything around him. By 1918, Germany was collapsing. The Kaiser abdicated. Kingdoms fell like dominoes. Hanover, his Hanover, was suddenly unmoored. No king, no clear succession, no Prussia holding the leash anymore. For a moment, just a moment, Ernst August's dream looked possible. He was 31. He had a title. He had a claim. He had nothing to lose. But he didn't move, and that hesitation cost him everything. The Weimar Republic took shape. A new constitution was written. Hanover became a state within Germany, not a kingdom. The moment closed. Ernst August watched it close from the sidelines, and something in him broke. He married in 1920. Victoria Louise, the Kaiser's daughter. It was a political move, a way to tie his claim to the highest bloodline in Germany. I've read the wedding accounts. Thousands of supporters showed up. They wore monarchist colors. They chanted his name. For one day, Ernst August felt like a king. The next 20 years were a slow descent into obsession. Ernst August began collecting supporters. He funded monarchist newspapers. He gave speeches about restoration. He traveled constantly, meeting with exiled royals, Nazi sympathizers, anyone who might help him reclaim Hanover. His wife watched him become a stranger. His children barely knew him. Then in 1933, Adolf Hitler came to power, and Ernst August made a choice that would haunt him forever. He saw opportunity. The Nazis were consolidating power, crushing opposition, rewriting German law. If he could align himself with Hitler, if he could make himself useful, perhaps, just perhaps, Hitler might restore the Hanoverian monarchy as a gesture of support. He was wrong. Hitler had no interest in restoring kingdoms. He wanted to consolidate power under a single leader himself. Ernst August's monarchism was an obstacle, not an asset. By 1936, the regime had begun pressuring him. By 1937, they seized his properties. He was living under surveillance, a man made irrelevant by the very ideology he tried to court. World War II came. Ernst August was in his 50s now. His dream of a kingdom felt like a fever dream from someone else's life. He retreated. He tried to stay neutral to survive. But the Nazis didn't trust him. They suspected he harbored sympathies for the British, which he did. His own wife was half British, after all. In 1943, the regime arrested him. He spent the rest of the war in prison and concentration camps. I've read the records. They didn't torture him. He was still nobility, still had distant cousins in power. But they broke him in other ways. Isolation, uncertainty, the knowledge that his obsession had led him straight into the hands of monsters. When the war ended in 1945, Ernst August was freed. Hanover was in ruins. Germany was divided. The kingdom he'd spent 60 years chasing was now part of the Federal Republic, a state without a crown, without a throne, without any possibility of restoration. He was 58 years old. The dream was finally dead. He lived another 14 years. He tried to rebuild his reputation. He claimed he'd resisted the Nazis all along, which was partly true, but nobody believed him. He'd collaborated. He'd compromised. He'd sacrificed his family's safety for a crown that was never coming back. His wife left him. His children distanced themselves. Ernst August died in 1953, a broken man. He left behind no kingdom, no legacy of glory, nothing but a cautionary tale. He'd been born into privilege and spent it chasing a phantom. He'd had everything and ended with nothing. And the cruelest part, Hanover survived without him. It thrived. It became a modern city. It never needed a duke at all. What strikes me most, looking back at the documents and letters, is that Ernst August never saw the pattern. He had chances to walk away. He had a wife, children, wealth. He could have lived a quiet life. But obsession doesn't work that way. It consumes you. It rewrites your priorities until the phantom becomes more real than the life in front of you. He spent a century, his entire lifetime, chasing something that had already been lost before he was born. The kingdom of Hanover is gone now, swallowed into modern Germany. Ernst August's claim died with him, but his story lives on, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous crown is the one you chase but can never wear. And that's exactly the kind of royal obsession we uncover here every week. Subscribe so you don't miss the next royal scandal buried in the archives.